Hello and welcome to the MK Web, MK Dons Sports Podcast, the Christmas and New Year special.
Indeed.
With myself, Dan Palmer and Scott Kirk. How's it going, mate? Good festive period so far?
Yeah, lovely, cheers. Yeah, it's always plenty of football in there, which is always good. So, but yeah, it's been a nice Christmas. All right, yourself?
Yeah, but can't complain. Very, very good. I should say this isn't really a festive special. It's just going to be exactly the same as all the others. Except it's sort of Christmas, New Year time.
It's at Christmas time, so why not?
I hope we're brightening up your festive period a little bit. And it's been a good December for Dons, hasn't it? Until the game yesterday against Brentford. We'd won every game in December, so disappointed to lose 3-1 yesterday. But I think we'd have beat Port Vale, beat Wolves, beat Crawley. So 9 points out of the last 12. That's not a bad return, is it?
I think it's been superb December. I don't really, they've not even conceded a goal as well in December before yesterday. So, they were very impressive, certainly defensively. I mean, I don't know where really it's come from, to be honest. It looked so shaky. And then again, it looked very shaky in the first half against Brentford, but then they picked it up afterwards. So,
yeah.
But, I mean, December's been a fantastic month. I think, 9 points, a lot of people would have taken that at the start of the month, especially when you look at Wolves away and Brentford away, the teams which are, within the top 4 teams now.
Yeah.
Crawley away is, that's the sort of game I think Dons would have lost in the past as well. But certainly, last year and the year before, and they just looked really good there as well. So, I think it's been a superb December, really, and hopefully, take Sunday to one side, take that in isolation, and move on for January. And January looks as though there's some definite points on offer for Dons in January. I mean, you look at the teams that are going to be playing Colchester New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And the Shrewsbury at home. You expect 3 points from that. Trip to Bristol City, they've just won a couple of games, so it might not be as easy as a win there, even though they aren't relegation zone. And I think there's Carlisle away, and I think it's Preston at home actually, from the FA Cup as well. So there's 1 or 2 tough games in there, but you'd expect a good few wins from the first few games. Certainly, I'd expect Colchester and Shrewsbury at home. So but December's been very good. Looks very good defensively, and then it was always going to be a tough game yesterday, I think. So. Yeah,
I think certainly I look at the December fixtures and thought, oh dear, this could be the whole season could be coming off the rails.
Yeah.
Here after the poor start, really.
Yeah.
They've risen to the challenge and only 7 points off the playoffs with a game in hand.
Yeah.
Which I think will be crucial to win that. You sort of think 7 points adrift. You kind of think that's quite a lot, really. But down to just 4, you think, hang on a minute, we're right in the hunt here.
I always think if you're within 6 points in the playoffs, you can call yourselves a sort of in the chasing pack, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a bit of an indictment as to how poor Dons have been so far this season in terms of the results they've got.
Yeah.
To still be 7 points off the playoffs, having won, a good few games in a row now before Sunday, and still quite a distance off the playoffs really. But luckily, there was the defeat yesterday, but luckily Rotherham lost and Peterborough lost as well, so not actually lost any ground on them. But it's.
Let's see if you get it down to just 4 points or 6. It's 1 win for you and a defeat for the teams you're trying to close down, and
that's right. Yeah.
Suddenly you're just within a game of getting back. And we do this with Dons all the time. You just look back at the games you should have won or should have got a draw, and think if only we had a couple more points, and it'd look a lot better.
Yeah.
But what we need to do now is just, put the Brentford performance to one side. They've obviously gone top with that victory. They're a great side. They're flying at the moment.
I think it was 12 unbeaten league games for them now. And,
not a great time to go there, especially a couple of days after another away trip at Crawley.
Well, Brentford had 2 home games in a row as well, which I know Carl Robinson wasn't. He sort of said, let's have a look at this, because and you got to agree with him to an extent. I think how can it be fair for one team to have 2 away trips? Yeah. But then again, you want one of your home games around the festive period. You want either a Boxing Day or a New Year's Day to be.
That's right. Yeah.
You wonder how else, unless you get your 3 home games in a row, which is even more unfair. Or you kind of got to have 2 away games in a row, really. I think. So it's a difficult one to try and manage, really.
Unless they decided to get rid of the game in between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, but we all love our football this time of year.
Well, yeah, it's amazing.
We don't want anything taken away from us, do we? So.
Yeah, I mean, you wonder for next year because Boxing Day falls on a Friday, so you wonder what's going to happen next year. But you know, it's it's going to be a tough ask to go to Crawley and Brentford and get 2 wins apiece. I mean, it's been great to get a win at Crawley anyway. So
yeah,
but Brentford were impressive as well. You know, I mean, as shaky as Dons were at the back in the first half, Brentford were phenomenal. You know, Saunders, he played really well. They had a couple, lad Saville was good. They, you know, got a real good young team that they're building there, and they've got so much momentum. You know, it's. But I think Brentford are the best team I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Just well, Leighton Orient were very good as well, but I think Brentford were phenomenal. Just all over the park, really strong defensively, so quick on the counter. I mean, they were just. You know, they were like lightning going forward, and really impressive team. So you take that defeat on the chin, I think, really. You know, but Dons played really well for the last half hour as well. Let's not forget. I mean, the result was probably over, so Brentford has probably taken the foot off the gas a little bit. But Dele Alli was superb when he came back on, and that's really encouraging to see. Back from injury and playing well. So
we obviously missed Stephen Gleeson, who's a couple of goals in his previous 2 games, and Ali's coming back from injury. Alan Smith had to slot in, and I think the jury's out whether he can still influence games like he could in the past before. He's certainly not that effective for Dons. I know he's a great presence in the changing room. Yeah, it's for the younger players, but
you could say Gleeson was a massive miss yesterday. Massive miss. Just his industry and his creativity. You know, he was a huge miss for Dons yesterday, and with him in the team, it could have been an entirely different scoreline. But let's not forget as well, I mean, Dons could have nicked a point towards the end. There's a blatant penalty which hasn't been given.
Good chance for Bamford as well.
And 1-on-1, I mean, you expect Bamford to tuck that away, and he's not. And there was a little sort of one right at the death where we could have got one as well. So, I mean, you know, it would have been harsh on Brentford, I think, for us to got a draw out of that. But you know, you do sort of look at it, don't you? And Ray Hodgson's finish was absolutely unbelievable. You know, so but Gleeson was a massive miss, and he can't get back in the team quickly enough, really, and he'll get back in for Colchester. And I think Brentford's not the best players, I think, to go for results anyway. So take that on the chin, and then I don't think there'll be too much momentum lost with that defeat, really, to be honest.
That's what we're hoping, really. We can just brush it to one side. Brentford's not been a particularly happy hunting ground over the last couple of seasons. I think most Dons fans will look at that and go, fair enough, it's been a good month.
Yeah.
Perhaps we're a bit greedy to want some points here, but the same can't be said about New Year's Day. That's got to win. Colchester at home, anything other than a win there will be a disappointment, won't it?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, especially Gleeson back as well, you know. You know, you expect to win there, and I expect a clean sheet, to be perfectly honest. You know, it's I don't really know what I'd say about that one. You know, it's a win's a must, and then hopefully, and then Wigan on Saturday, which should be a very interesting one.
Yeah, there's obviously no point in going to Wolves and going to Crawley and winning if you're losing sort of very winnable looking games. Like you've got to make Stadium and Care Fortress and
of course,
win the matches.
I mean, look at teams have beaten at home already though this season. You know, like they beat Port Vale comfortably enough, and they're 7th in table now. And you look at the table thinking, how Port Vale there? They were shocking against Dons.
Yeah.
Same with Walsall. You know, beat Walsall 1-0. Should have been a lot more. And you know, I think they're still above Dons, aren't they? As well, Walsall. So you're sort of thinking, how are they above Dons? You know. So.
Because we're slipping up against
I mean,
Colchester's
it's the away form, isn't it? You know, that's been the. I mean, I know they lost to Carlisle at home, which is truly awful. But you know, it's you know, anything other than 3 points on New Year's Day, and then you're sort of thinking, right, well, it's going to definitely be a mid-table season again. You know, if a defeat on New Year's Day, and it's going to take another, you know, 5-match winning run just to try and get on some sort of parity with the playoff teams.
The season's really on a knife edge, isn't it? One win and you're very positive, a defeat and it's doom and gloom.
It really is.
It's very, very finely balanced at the moment.
Well, it's just such a competitive league. I mean, you know, Sheffield United and Bristol City are starting to get a couple of wins now, I think, aren't they? And you know, so that they're not going to be. You wouldn't expect that. Well, they might be down there all season. But that shows how strong the league is for two teams like that. To be struggling as they are. You know, it's it's an indictment really of how tough League One is this season, and so many good teams. You know, it was always going to be a tough one this season.
And obviously the Colchester away game wasn't too long ago. That was one of the worst nights in recent memory. So a quick chance to avenge that defeat and get it out of the system.
Yeah, I mean, I think Don's midweek. And technically New Year's Day will be a midweek game, but you know, Dons have struggled midweek. They've had 3 midweek games from what I remember. I didn't go to some of them that played well in that one, didn't they? But they've had sort of 3 midweek games, and they were absolutely appalling in all 3 of them. Carlisle at home was dreadful. Stevenage and Colchester were just dreadful.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so that's the way with these games in hand for me, you see, because they've been so poor away from home and in midweek.
Tuesday nights,
Trip to Oldham. I can't. You know, are we going to win that? I don't know. So, you know, it's got to get some revenge on New Year's Day. There'll be a 3 o'clock kick-off, so it shouldn't be too bad, and we've got to win that. Just so the pressure's not too much on them, because I'm sure they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves to make sure they win that one.
Hopefully a victory built from the back. David Martin's been, you know, he's played really well in goal since
he yesterday.
To the side.
He looked shaky yesterday, in fairness, which was only made quite a few mistakes, which was quite weird because he's been phenomenal in December. You know, so just looked a little bit. I don't know. His clearances. I think Brentford were pressing very well, but still, you know, that was a little bit of a worry that he seemed to just. I don't know, his clearances weren't working out. You know, there were quite a few occasions at the back where he's sort of thinking. I mean, Dons do that maybe once or twice a game where they're passing it at the back and you're thinking, oh, you know, the old school footballer will be like, just clear it, you know. But that happened a lot more than it should have done yesterday. And again, I think just if I could put that to the back of their minds and just, you know, play that way, then they'll be fine. But yeah, David Martin's been superb, and he's been such a key player to get back. The defence just looks a lot more confident with him behind him.
Good to have Anthony Kay hopefully coming back in as well. He's great start to the season, and definitely missed him when he was gone, without doubt. So
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he started on New Year's Day. Really, I mean, it depends on his fitness is, but he came on. When Sean Williams got that back injury against Crawley, he came on and it was fantastic. You know, got booked within 10 minutes. Although that was a harsh one against Crawley. But so you know, wouldn't surprise me at all if Anthony Kay was back in the team, having conceded 3 goals and with the defence looking as it was on Sunday. It just depends on whether he's fit enough, obviously, which we won't know. But I think having him back has been a boost for the defence because they know, right. We've got a very strong, experienced centre-back behind, you know, trying to get in the team now. So, you know, but it's good to see him back though, definitely. It's a great player to have around the squad.
And we won't speak about this too much because we've covered it quite a lot beforehand. But the January the 5th deadline looming for some of the loan players. That's, you know, you imagine work's going on behind the scenes now. Not only Patrick Bamford, but Dale Jennings and Jordan Spence as well. I think they would like to keep all of their loan players, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bamford's obviously the key one. Spence not as key, I don't think, now that Kay's back. You know, but you do wonder about, because Flanagan was very shaky when he played earlier this season, so you wonder, you know, is he really adequate cover for the centre-back positions? Probably is, but, you know what I mean, Spence is not as urgent, I don't think. I think Jennings is quite important. He's played quite well, Jennings, but Bamford's a key one. You know, absolutely got to keep him. And you know, we have talked about it a lot, but we're obviously at that time now, and you know, not heard anything from the club yet. So you know, it's you know, the Bamford issue is absolutely vital. And if he goes, I think that's he's the player that the season could hinge on.
I don't know how these things work, but you'd expect if Chelsea were keen to keep him here, then the deal could be pushed through very easily. I think if it drags on and there's no news, I think no news might be bad news for Dons in this situation. It's a game changer, isn't it? If he goes, and then we're looking at Isaiah McLeod coming back from Northampton to lead the line, or can they find another striker on loan? I know David Ngu at Liverpool. He's been linked with a loan move. Down, it's pivotal, isn't it? This period.
Yeah, definitely. Got to keep Bamford. It's as simple as that, otherwise, because there's no money to go out and get other players. So you're looking at, like you say, another loan for a striker, or finding someone that's on a freebie, really. And are you going to get the quality striker you want on a free? You know, so
certainly don't think you're going to get 14, 15 goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Bamford's provided before the
So
end
yeah,
of the year.
so I mean, it's been an issue. You know, well, Bamford's been class this season. I mean, he takes a lot of chances to score though. Sometimes, you know, like he should have scored really yesterday. He had enough chances in the second half, and would have liked to have seen him put one away. But you know, you can't exactly complain. He's scored 15, 16 goals I think this season now. So
Yeah.
you know, he's absolutely pivotal, and you know, it's going to be a very interesting few days now. An interesting week to see if Bamford can stay and if the rest can stay. Bamford's the name man.
Dale Jennings, how do you think he's done?
He's done well. He still looks a bit unfit to me, though. But he's done well. He's a good worker, is Jennings, and you know, I think he's good. He's certainly better than anybody else for that position, I think, at the moment. So, you know, I'd like to see George Baldock starting more. I think actually, I think it would be good.
Yeah, new deal for him, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, and he fully deserves that. I mean, he's a great impact player. He's so quick, and when you're up against a bunch of men who've been playing for an hour, and he can bring someone like Baldock on, it can really spur the team on. And you know, I think it was against not Port, I can't remember who it was against now, but you know, he regularly comes on and just gives them that extra spark, really. And he's a very, very good player, as Baldock. I'd like to see him with a new contract, and you know, I'm sure he'll be wondering why he's not starting a few more games now. So if Jennings does go, that's why it's not as crucial with Jennings, because I think Carruthers could probably go over to the left and get Baldock on the right wing. And you know, with someone like Baldock, if Lee Hodgson's going to go up, Baldock, he's got that sort of defensive-minded sort of. Because obviously he can play it right back as well, can't he? So you know, I'd like to see Baldock start a bit more actually. So if Jennings goes, not the end of the world, because I think Baldock could be able to slot in there quite nicely.
Carruthers, of course, another lone player at Dons. There's got a few of them at the moment. Jennings, I guess, there's been a change of manager at his parent club, Barnsley. Danny Wilson, a former Dons boss, of course, going back to Barnsley for a second spell. You don't know if that'll change the thinking. Maybe the previous manager would have been happy to let Jennings stay, and maybe Danny Wilson want to keep him or have a look at him himself. You don't know. Just a lot of factors up in the air at the moment.
It's a strange time.
Interesting times.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who starts against Wigan and then who starts. You know, between the Colchester game and the Shrewsbury game. You know, the week after the Wigan match. You know, I think that's going to be quite an interesting time because the team could be totally different by the time we get fully into January. So, but that Wigan game is going to be good as well. You know, that's really
pick up to that third round against the holders to look forward to. So
absolutely, that'll be a real challenge, and if we get anything out of that, it'll be fantastic result. So,
well, I think we'll wrap it up for today and the year.
Yes.
So Happy New Year to our listeners, and follow us on Twitter, obviously, at your MK Web Sports. Thanks very much, and see you soon. Goodbye. Bye.
Happy New Year.